Hi guys, how are we all doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching me from. I greet you especially. My name is Uche Cynthia Onuorah. Guys, um I have something I want to discuss with us about enemies attached to destinies. Yes, that is the topic of today, enemies attached to destinies. Now, I've come to confirm that we have three types of enemies. One, the one we inherited from either our families or either from our friends. And also the one that we brought upon ourselves, maybe through our attitude, through our character, how we were dealing with people, how we took advantage of people, automatically calls them in as our enemies. Now, this is the third one, which is what we are discussing today, the enemies attached to destinies. Now, this is the particular area where men, when they find themselves in difficult situations, they begin to ask, who have I offended? I haven't done anything to anyone. Why are things so difficult for me? I've been good. I've been this to people. I've been so kind to people. Why are things so difficult? Men cry when enemies are performing their duties in their lives. Let me tell you something. You didn't do nothing to this particular enemy. The only thing you did, the only reason they are bitter is because you were born. Not just born or created by an ordinary person, you were created by God. They know that God does not do anything without first of all calculating the cost. They know, see, the enemies, they know God more than we that say we are children of God know God. They know the abilities of God. They know the character of God. They know the capability of God more than we who say we are the children of God. They know that God does not do things unplanned. They know if he has started a thing, he had already finished it. They know that he doesn't do things without a cause, without a reason. They know that he had destined you for something. Jesus came for something. Peter came for something. Moses came for something. Samson came for something. Joseph came for something. Gideon came for something. Or David came for something. Everyone we see in the Bible, let's use them as references. They came here for a purpose. Now, what the enemy normally does is that it brings in distractions just to make us believe that our lives is random, is a mistake. He comes in to throw in random things into our lives to make us begin to see God as a wicked God. Why did you drop me in this poverty family? Why did you drop me in this kind of family? Why didn't you drop me in that rich man's home? Why didn't you drop me in this kind of country? Why make us see reason or make us begin to doubt the abilities of God, the wisdom of God, the smartness of God, the creativity of God, because they know that once we tap into the truth of who God is and why he has created us, that already we have gotten 50% of what it will take to bring them down. You are not in the wrong family. God can't do anything wrong. You are not in the wrong country. God can't do anything wrong. You didn't come through the wrong woman. You didn't come through the wrong father. There is a reason for everything that God does. That is why the wisdom of God does not make sense in the time that is happening. It actually makes sense when time plays out. So you are going to be fought because the destiny you are carrying is not a small destiny. You are a deliverer. You are the light of the world. Do you know that when the Bible says you are the light, it means that you are coming anywhere you step into, something else must make way for you. So it becomes a battlefield. And if we don't wake up to fight this battle and to tell God, I understand the one thing that makes us to live below what God has created us for is because we believe that we are meant to fight it by ourselves. No, God that gave it to you expected you to come to him. Come, let us discuss. Come, let us have a conversation. Come, let me explain to you what it is. Come, let me tell you what we are meant to do. And Jesus said to Peter, after he gave him the miracle that broke the net, he said, now follow me. Let me teach you what you must begin to do. It's about following. It's about partnership. A product cannot manifest fully what it meant to manifest if the manufacturer does not align it to do what he has asked it to do. You are a product in the hands of the Lord. You are a weapon against the enemy. You are the one in that family. Stop waiting for another Jesus to come. Jesus already came here to show us the way. Stop waiting for another Jesus to come. You are the one that God has planted in that family. You are the one that God has planted in that country. You are the one that God has planted in that business. You are the one God has given it to. Stop waiting for another Jesus. The next time we are seeing Jesus, he is not coming to save anyone. He is coming to judge the nation. He is coming to judge the people. So you could see that you are in that family to do something. You are in that family to deliver. You are in that family to set free. The reason why God has brought you into the world is because he thought about some pain in the world. And he said, who will go for me? He chose you to go for him because he knows you. That is why he will not allow you to go. That is why he keeps on calling you higher. That is why when the enemy comes after you, he will raise up standard against them. It's because of you that the Lord does not sleep. He does not slumber. It is because he is guarding the gate of Israel. He is guarding the gate of Zion to make sure that the enemy does not take you out. Stop taking your life to be minimal. Stop taking your life to be random. God does not make mistake. When he speaks a word, he speaks because he knows what you are here to do. The only thing he needs you and I to do is to come to him, is to open up ourselves. He is knocking at your door. Open up to him because he knows that a stranger has inhabited his place. And he said that our body is the temple of him, is the temple of God. And every temple must always be on fire. No temple should be silent. Every temple must be on fire. Every temple must be awakened. Every temple must have a fire or a light lit in it. Every temple must be kept clean. You are the temple of the Lord. Stop allowing the enemy to play tricks on your mind. Stop allowing the enemies to play tricks on what you feel on the inside of you. You are God's chosen. You are the light of the world. You are the one that will add taste to the world. So stop playing little. Stop allowing the enemies to see. One thing the enemy does is to put distraction. What the enemy does is to put enmity between you and your helper. Who is your helper? Jesus is your helper. The Lord is your helper. Once the enemy gets you to see that the one who is your helper is your enemy, can you imagine that someone goes to speak to your helper or someone goes to speak to you negatively about who your helper is? How do you think you will start acting to that helper? You will start seeing that helper as an enemy. But when God comes for you and takes off that veil that the enemy has placed in your eyes, that is when you begin to see the enemy for who they are. It means that in the midst of any trouble, because you have recognized who the true enemy is, that God has never been your enemy, that he has been with you. This is one thing that he revealed to me when he delivered me. He told me when I was complaining to him that I thought you don't love me. I thought nobody loved me. I thought I'm not a beautiful one. I thought everywhere I go, I get disappointed, or I'm the reason why things go bad anywhere I go. He began to reveal to me that this is what the enemy has done. Who told you that you are a disappointment? Who told you that you are not beautiful? Who has interfered with what I have created? And then he began to renew my mind. Anytime God meets a man begins to tell him things. That is when he begins to understand that an enemy has spoken to you. That is when he told Adam and Eve, who told you that you are naked? It's because he recognized that someone has interfered, someone has sown a seed that he did not plant. And the Bible said that whatever seed that the Lord did not plant, that he's going to uproot. So whatever seed I pray for you that the God did not plant, that is making you to see him as an enemy, I pray that that thing will be uprooted, that the Lord will uproot that seed, that you begin to see the enemy for who they are and begin to see God for who he is. Because when you tap into God, you begin to tap into yourself. Though he slay me, yet shall I trust in him. Though he slay me, yet shall I trust in him. Though he slay me, yet shall I trust in him. Though he slay me, yet shall I trust in him. The slaying of the Lord is not wickedness. The slaying of the Lord is not wickedness. He wants to prune us. He wants to prune us from what the enemy has done. He created you and I as leaders. But there are things that have interfered in our process. There are things that has interfered in our mind. That is when God came talking to Gideon about what he created him for. Gideon began to doubt. Gideon began to speak against what God was saying. When God was speaking to Moses, he began to speak because of what his condition is saying. So there are enemies attached to our destinies. You must know this. That they don't want you to manifest. They want you to be the reason why God will shed tears. Refuse to be the reason why your father shed tears. Refuse to fail. Refuse that your life will go the same way your parents' life went. Refuse that you will be the one that the enemy will come through. Refuse their prophecies over your life. Because the Bible said that he has good thoughts for us. The thought of good and not of evil, to bring us to a good expected end. It means that if God has a destiny good for you, there are some people somewhere that has bad prophecies for you.